So last week in Queenstown, instead of playing the Calling, I instead elected for side events, primarily because one I was very interested in was the Goldfoil Commoner event on Saturday morning. But although the event was small, it was full of folks who really cared about Commoner, and the competition was pretty fierce. I actually ended up doing really well, going second place and ultimately losing in the final. But today I'm doing a very short recap of the event and covering the top 4 deck lists from that event. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. To all my Commoner friends, thank you. Together, you have completely changed the narrative around Commoner. Engagement scores are up roughly 3x on Commoner videos. But it's not time to pump the brakes. If you enjoy this video and other Commoner content, like, comment, and subscribe to show not only myself, but the other content creators that this format matters. You all rock, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando, Dice Commando, actually, and welcome back to another Commoner video here on the channel, covering the Commoner Goldfoil event from Queenstown about 10 days ago at this point. I meant to get this out earlier, but when you're flying back and you got to get back to work, you may notice the colored shirt. That's right, just back from work and getting this all done. All right, so the event itself, the event was held at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, which was day 1 of technically day 2 of the calling weekend, but it was the kickoff day of the calling. Now, the calling started at 9 o'clock, so I wasn't sure what the attendance for the Commoner Goldfoil would be. So what I have up right here is the meta breakdown scribbled in my pad hastily, so excuse the bad handwriting, but there were 13 players in it. We had 2 Bravos, 1 Rhinar, 1 Dromai, 3 Iras, 1 Kassai, 2 Oldhams, 1 Icelander, 1 Dorinthea. This was actually a Decimator Great Axe Dorinthea build, and then 1 Fi. So that was the breakdown of the field in general. Again, 13 players seems light for Commoner Goldfoil, but again, the calling had just started. It's very important here to highlight that the folks who decided to skip the calling and play in this event instead did so consciously because they wanted to play in the event. So to look at this and say it was a small event is a true statement, but it's also not really, I believe, giving credit to the high level of Commoner play that was present in this event. Because again, it was folks who really honestly cared and specifically wanted to skip the calling to do this instead, right? Making their selection. So with that said, the top 4 of the event, I got to get my pad. Look at me not being prepared. All right, sorry. The top 4 events. So it was won by Kasharn Rao. That name may sound very familiar from Flesh and Blood article fame. So he took it down, eliminating Andrew Heinz. That's right, this guy, in the finals. We then had Joshua Wellington, not from Wellington, but no, good dude. Actually played him twice throughout the event, Joshua Wellington. And then in 4th place was Sam Smith. That's right, the Sam Smith. Well, not that Sam Smith, but the other Sam Smith of Fab fame. That is correct. So Kasharn was on Ira. I myself was on Bravo. Joshua Wellington was on Fi. And then Sam Smith was also on Ira. Interestingly enough, the Icelander was also at the top tables, must have missed it on a score, tiebreaker or something like that. We only saw 1 Icelander in the event, which did surprise me. I think Icelander's still very strong, but it's very much becoming clear in the meta that Ira is leading the charge. But I think that'll probably swing things because I think Icelander does really well into Ira, and I think that's why Ira did so well at the top tables. It's because there was no Icelander to shut her down. And then myself on Bravo has a really bad matchup into Ira. And you know what? That's how a meta works. All right, so going through the lists today, 2 of them are linked below. The other 2 are just pictures. So what we'll do is we'll just go straight through the lists. So this first one is Sam. And actually, I don't know that Sam... So Sam was the pilot. But when he handed me the deck to take pictures of, one of his partner or his friend or something like that came over and started giving me the rundown on the deck. So I think it was hers. You don't assume things these days, right? But I'm pretty sure it was, was theirs. Okay. So what you see is a Ira. Again, a lot of this is basic Ira. This is more of a traditional Ira build. There's still some very interesting includes in here. Okay, so we do have Goliath Gauntlet. There's one needle, and then there are two Kodachis. We have Mask of Shifting Perspectives, Null Rune Hood. We have the Cross Strap, and then we have the normal Tide Flippers Snapdragons play. Right, so what we see there from left to right, so we do have Soulbead Strike there. It's in the glare. It is impossible, and again, forgive my pictures. It's very difficult in these venues with lights everywhere to get where we're basically in a gym, right, in a stadium, something like that. Very difficult to get a clear picture. So we have Soulbead Strike there, Wounded Blow, the Whispers of the Oracle. And then a very interesting card there. So this is Destructive Deliberation. I can honestly say I've never actually seen this one in a commoner deck before. It's an interesting include, actually. I'll give them the credit for that, right? So it's a 2 for 5 there. But when it hits, you create a Ponder, which, that's interesting, right? Razor Reflex, Critical Strike, Flying Kick, Wax On is in there. To round out the blues, we have Rising Knee Thrust, 1-2 Punch, and then Whelming Gust Wave. Those are very, very common ones, no pun intended. And then we have Back Heel Kick as well, actually. All right. Now, what I thought was interesting on this one is 1-2 Punches in there, but I don't see a Head Jab, so I'm wondering if it's possible I didn't get the sideboard in this. But, either way, it blocks 3 and it's a blue, so it's still good. It's 2 Sync Blows, 2 red Soul Beads, and then Twin Twisters. Cut down to size is a 6-drop, which is actually kind of interesting. It's actually not a horrible move, right? Coming in for 7. And actually, in that case, maybe you don't even use it for 7. Maybe you try to go more. I mean, obviously it's a 2, so the easy one's like a 1-7, 1-2-7 there. That's actually interesting, because if they don't block it and they're full block, it forces the block. So yeah, I think you probably come in with 7 because they probably still only give you 1 card. So then you get a card they didn't want to give you and you push 4. Yeah, I think that's probably I think that's the right play. All right, so we have Brutal Assault. Scar for Scar is in this one, which is very interesting because I think a lot of times Ira is not necessarily leading, but in the Bravo match, maybe, or maybe you've taken some Arcane, so fair enough. Torrent to Tempo, Leg Tap, and then Stony Wooten Hug. You will notice the absence of Bittering Thorns, and of course the other mask. My guess is that they haven't purchased RTT, right? Which is completely reasonable. All right, next we're going to pop over. I know I said this is going to be a little disjointed, so now we're going to pop over to I Have Two Big Toes, No Stubs, No Problem. The link for this will be below, and remember this is Joshua. Well, not remember because I haven't told you yet, but this is Joshua Wellington's deck, right? Again, the last was Sam Smith's deck. This is Joshua Wellington's deck. Okay, so what we see here is a standard February type list. But going on 5, we're playing Heatwave because stubbies are gone. Makes sense. And again, no stubs, no problem. Still made top 4. I like it. Heatwave, Mask of Three Tails. Makes sense. Not on Kodachis, right? Not doing the Rupture thing. Straight up on Searing Emberblade and the normal package. Or I shouldn't say the normal package, say the Draconic package. Snappies, and then Vets of First Fist. All right, into the deck there, we've got some RTT around Bittering Thorns, Blaze Headlong, of course, Brand Red-Blue, Deadly Duo. I kind of like this include, right? When this hits, next action card with 2 or less base, gains +2. Kind of hot. All right, Flame Call, Inflame was in this. I do wonder if Inflame wasn't to carry over with Stubbies. The time that I saw them play it, they actually didn't really get to take advantage of it. Actually, yeah, because I played them in 2 games. I think I only saw it once, at least that I remember. Lava Burst, always good. Lava Vein, Loyalty, Red-Blue, love that call. 2 Phoenix Flames, Ravenous Rabble, Ride the Tailwind, okay. 2 Red Risings, 2 Ronins, 2 Red Scars, Soulbead Red-Blue, Salt the Wound, and then Sinnerskin Devotion. Sinnerskin Devotion, remember, is if you are not on the Kodachi package, this is perfectly reasonable because it's a blue that blocks 3 and it's Draconic. Right, so perfectly reasonable call there. Absolutely love it. If we go down into their sideboard, we have 2 Oasis, 2 Rising Resentments, 1 Ronin, and then Null Robe and Tide Flippers for a total of AB2 on board. Right, and again, I want to thank you, Joshua. Right, I have 2 big toes. Thank you for sharing your deck with us. All right, at this point, we'll go ahead and pop over to my Bravo Pump and Thump. If you are a commoner follower of this channel, You've seen this deck before. It is from the list exactly what I've been playing. All right, this is no secret. It's not super secret tech. Nothing changed. All right, so we have Goliath Gauntlet, Cross Strap, Peak, Mage Master Boots. Actually, this one thing did change. I bought myself RTT, so I was actually playing Civic Steps. So I'm recording it now, obviously with Mage Master Boots. I will fix it on the back end. That Mage Master Boots is Civic Steps. That's my apologies, Civic Steps. Right, Null Rune Boots, Null Hood, Null Robe, and then the Buckler and the Fist. All right, now you will notice the sideboard is, or the inventory loadout, whatever, is actually pretty large here. And that's because I like the flexibility, and I like that the deck works the way that the deck works. All right. So moving into the deck itself, we're playing. So again, remember, this deck was pre-Heavy Hitters. Heavy Hitters was world premiering that weekend. Okay, now this deck will change. Concuss is a card. Concuss is coming. We'll talk about that in the future. Don't you worry. Again, I'm covering the deck list that was there. So Cartilage Crush, red, blue. Choke Slam, red, blue. Come to Fight, Crush Confidence, red, blue. Crush the Weak. Earth Lore Empowerment. That's right. Earth Lore Empowerment did serious work for me. I actually pulled off a turn 0 dream play where I drew Earth Lore Empowerment and I drew Thump. So I was able to play Earth Lore. This is turn 0. I was able to play Earth Lore Empowerment and Arsenal Thump. That's text. You can't ask for anything more than that. It's a pretty good. You just got to block. What? 3 cards. I mean, you only need 1 card to make it work, and then you can still threaten. It's good. It's good. And actually, that did. I don't know if you saw on the Fab Twitters. I actually got myself on the Fab Twitter for that one. At that point, I had been chewing my way to the top, and I'd met Kasharn actually in the final. Or I met Kasharn in round 4, beat me, and then I met him. So I placed second in Swiss, and then I met him again in the finals. And that match did not go anywhere near as well. That was a curb stomp, as the kids say. But so be it. All right, so Earth Lore Empowerment, I am playing Fate and Sank, red pummels, Thump, red, blue. A Wounded Bull is still in here. It actually, I really like Wounded Bull because, sometimes, especially with the setup on this, trying to do the pump and thump thing, sometimes you have to take a little bit. Wounded Bull being able to come 3 for 8, potentially with the Dominate. Really good. Buckling Blow, Debilitate, Macho Grande, and then Unmovable. Right, and then if we go look at the inventory, we've got Oases and Anathos. Anathos is a phenomenal play for Icelander, right? I actually did run up against an Icelander, and I ran Anathos, and Anathos is really good because guess what you can do? You can swing it and then pitch to block, and then it becomes a 6. A lot of times that math is not incorporated when you're swinging for 4 and they're trying to do their math, right? They figured out at about the second time, but an extra 2 threatening if they try to do what they want to do, well, right back at you, Icelander, because that's what you're trying to do. All right. So last up, let's go back to the decks. All right. So again, I want to throw up. So this is Kasharn. Again, congratulations, Kasharn, and he was very willing to share his deck. So I really, really appreciated that. All right. So his deck. If we go look at Ira, you do see the Crouching Kitty behind Ira. Do keep in mind that card does not count in the deck total because it is. Pulled later. It's created in the Banished Loan. Ephemeral or ethereal or whatever it is. Right, so 2 Kodachis, no dagger or anything in this. Mask of Many Faces, and then Blood Scent, Tearing Shuko, I think it is, and then Pouncing Paws. And I take it back. I do take it back. There is a Zephyr Needle in this, and then of course you see the Arcane package. They're running AB3, as well as a Spell Void Cloak. Okay, that's actually kind of hot tech. All right, now, going into this deck, there's some pretty hot tech in this deck. The card you see there first on the bottom left, Surging Militia. Surging Militia absolutely freaking destroyed me, right? When this is coming in as a 2/6, so it's only a 2/5, right? So it doesn't serve as a popper, but again, you look at this, he's not really worried about that. I didn't see any prisms, by the way, I don't believe. But you come in with this as a 1/6, you're like a 1 and then a 2/6, right? So come in for the Ira part. Then every card you block, it goes up by 1. The card just straight pushes damage or makes you make really inefficient decisions if it comes late. Oof, hot tech. Hot tech. Going in my Ira deck, for sure. Right, Stony Wooten, actually, Surging Militia with Ira might actually see itself get a commoner ban in the future. Like, it's that mathematically good. And I like, again, there are changes that could be made, right, to maybe tone Ira down. A lot of them I think don't need made, but some of these fringe cards that I think, anyway, I'm not calling for a ban. I want to be very clear, but I could see that happening. That card is just straight up dirty. Right, Stony Moonhog, Rally the Rearguard. I like the flexibility on that, actually, with the ability to chuck a card to get around or pseudo get around Dominate. I really like that. And then Brutal Assault, of course, no secret to anybody. All right, we do have Bittering Thorns in here, Twin Twisters, Leg Tap, Crit Strike, Torrent of Tempo. We have the 4 red, right, Sync and Fate, Soul Bead, red. And then what was interesting here to me was the number of blues, actually, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blues, and that's with Springboard Somersault on there. The reason I say that is because a lot of the times you'll see Springboard Somersault kind of count as a blue. That's at least my experience. Again, because it's a 0. So a lot of time, a 0 yellow. So a lot of times that can kind of count in the blue slot. So running 14 blues with Springboard Somersault is pretty interesting, actually, right? So also notice there's no Whirling Mist Blossom, nothing queued in here. It's just straight up, this deck is just straight up to the T, Ira value, and it dominated the event, right? So Kasharn went 4-0, taking me out again in Swiss, and then obviously won the event. So congratulations again to Kasharn. And want to be clear, or not clear, his gold foil, he did decide to open it, and it was a Ragamuffins hat, which got a lot of people very excited. So anyway, that's kind of a mini recap for the event, plus the decks that we saw. I hope that this helped you. This all comes with a disclaimer, of course, that Heavy Hitters releases in 2 days from the time of me releasing this video, and there will be a fair amount that changed. The Ira decks probably won't change much. Maybe there's a card or two they pull out of there. Actually, I haven't really given that much thought. Phi probably doesn't change at all, and Bravo is going to change, especially this Bravo build. Going to change a bunch, because Concuss is certainly going into every Bravo Commoner deck for the end of time, I would imagine, right? And I think it actually works really well in this deck. Probably swap out the Wounded Bolt for it, but hey, folks, we'll talk about that in the future. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Again, remember on these Commoner videos, engagement matters. I really appreciate your help there. Nothing else, folks. Go Commando.